Hello everyone, welcome to our course. Our topic today is independent learning. Thinking of your learning experience at high school, can you remember the moment when you chose to do extra work? It may not have been an academic activity, but in the fields of sports and music. What motivated you to do so? And what was the result of your independent work? Your interests drove you. You enjoyed the process of doing those work. You gained a lot of fun. So, what's the meaning of the word independent? When we say the word independent, what are you thinking of? Free, not relying on, not controlled, self-directed, self-reliant, autonomous. It's common that at high school, what you learn is largely decided by your teachers. You are in turn constrained by curriculum, teaching plan, and teaching policy. However, you might find you were good at certain subjects and particularly enjoying learning them. You choose to spend much more time on those work. At the same time, you may have been aware of having weaknesses in some areas and decide to devote extra time and energy to make improvements. While doing so, you were unconsciously learning independently, and you were free to decide what to do, how to do, and whether it was worthwhile. So, how can we define independent learning? We can cite Holleck's words. One broad definition of independent learning is the ability to take charge of one's learning. Put it simply, independent learning is when students set goals, monitor and evaluate their own academic activities, so they will manage their own motivation towards learning. Independent learning is self-directed learning when an individual can choose what they want to learn, how deeply they wish to learn about subjects, what methods and processes they like to take. Being independent at universities means that you were responsible for managing your studies, your time. In high school, teachers usually tell students what and when to study and check the progress. University learning requires students to learn and complete assignments independently, meet deadlines, and organize their time. It seems that curriculum design at university assumes that students already have independent learning skills when they arrive at university, or they will soon grasp the skills. Actually, it isn't common to provide instructions on how to be independent learner during the first year study in the disciplines. So, it's necessary that universities should establish the studying environment and opportunities for students to develop the independent learning skills. The instructions of skills should be taught to help students to achieve their academic successes in their first year learning experience. So, what independent learning strategy can we take? In order to fulfill successful independent learning, students need to follow the key three strategies: setting learning goals, engaging in learning process, and evaluating learning. 1. Set learning goals is based on the evaluation of students' study situation, study habits, and detailed learning plan. Students and their advising instructors need to communicate to set clear goals. Thinking about these questions, such as, is there too much or too little work? Is the timeline and evaluation reasonable? 2. engage in the learning process. Students need to understand, as learners, they should make sure they will actively engage in learning process. They need to use different study methods compared with those used in high school. They might learn only what was required for unity recompletion. But at universities, learning what is required is basic. They should understand ideas for themselves, use examples to explain concepts, and apply knowledge to new situations. In one word, they should learn more than what is required. So 3, evaluate learning. A learning diary can keep track of students' learning process. They need to make regular reflections and self-evaluations of their achievements. Seeking feedback from instructors and talking with advisors can be helpful. Students' confidence will increase as they look back and become aware of how much they have done through the school year. What characteristics do independent learners have? They have 5 following characteristics. Curiosity. Independent learner wants to find out more about the world. They seek out ways to explore. They learn from various angles and formats, not just traditional instruction. They are proactive and find ways to access additional lesson supplements on their own. Self-motivation. Strict motivation far surpasses any prize or reward system. Independent learners are motivated by setting internal goals to achieve. They were driven by their own personal achievement. Self-examination. Independent learners know how to evaluate themselves. They can see their strengths and weaknesses. They strive for measurable progress and often chart their accomplishment and failures. Critical thinking. Independent learners think critically of a situation. They examine all possibilities and often come up with multiple solutions. They don't just memorize. Rather, they ask why and formulate answers based on real-world observation and intelligent thinking. Persistence. Independent learners don't give up. They strive to understand a concept as much as possible on their own before asking for help. They also apply self-discipline in not finding the easy answer to a problem. They teach themselves and generally only ask questions after failure to find a solution on their own. So, how can we just promote independent learning? Successful independent learner is able to make informed choices and take responsibility for their own learning activities. Spending more time outside the classroom maximizes their learning opportunities and participating in extracurricular activities such as workshops, seminars, debating clubs, and other academic associations definitely promotes independent learning. Independent learning gives students a chance to design learning experiences for themselves. This learning experience enables students to become their own teachers. They develop increased self-confidence to take decisions and act on them. The self-driven motivation, informed choices, and share of the responsibility finally help students to become a problem solver, a manager of his own time, and lifelong learner. Let's grasp independent learning skills by following our course.